Hi there. My name's William. I'm a member of Socialist Party Scotland Dundee Branch, as well as a member of Young Socialist Scotland. With me today, I have the National Secretary for the Socialist Party Scotland, as well as one of the main authors for a new book that the party is launching, Scotland and the National Question. So, Philip, my first question to you is, why is the party publishing a book now?
Well, thanks, William. So Socialist Party Scotland have produced a new book that will be available in a couple of days' time. And as you say, it's titled Scotland and the National Question, a Marxist analysis. And we believe it's important to produce this book right now because of the way in which the national question in Scotland is developing. We have now an almighty collision being prepared between the working class in Scotland, who are in the majority now back independence, between them and a Tory government at Westminster who are hell-bent on refusing to allow a legal second referendum. And that means that we can expect over the next few weeks and months, and particularly after the Scottish Parliament elections in May next year, a major eruption and struggle around the national question. So the purpose of the book is to explain what we believe are the methods of struggle that can win that battle, can defy not just Johnson and the Tories, but the capitalist class who lie behind the Tory government, of how can the independence movement link their struggle for democratic rights to the fight for socialism, because we believe both of them are intimately linked together, and why it's necessary to counter the false leadership of the Nicola Sturgeon and the SNP, who themselves are committed to capitalism and are not prepared to use the methods of mass struggle, mass working class struggle that will be needed to win the right to self-determination in Scotland, and of course win the struggle for socialism as well.
Okay, thanks, Philip. My second question then would be, why is it that we have to have this discussion now and not after independence? Because given obviously the popularity, or at least the rising popularity, of socialist ideas, particularly among young workers, many of whom would probably say, well, aren't the SNP the only organisation that can get us over the independence line? And if so, why not throw our lot behind them and then we can talk about socialism? So why discuss it now?
Yeah, that's a really good question, William. And it's a question that comes up a lot, and quite genuinely, we need to be able to answer it. And I think the best way to respond to the question is this. The struggle for the right to a second referendum, the struggle for the right to self-determination is being fought right now against those in power and control, the capitalist elite in Britain, who are determined to try and stop the breakup of Britain. Why are they doing that? Well, they're doing that because they have an enormous economic stake to retaining to Britain as an entity. They obviously want to ensure that the national question in Scotland does not lead to a new eruption of the national question in Wales, and all of the issues in Northern Ireland as well, as we know, which is a major problem for the British ruling class in terms of sectarian division as well. So we know that the fight for independence in Scotland is linked to having to overcome the capitalist class who want to prevent democratic rights being won in Scotland itself. Now, that therefore means that a discussion about building a mass movement for independence, the struggle about building a movement against capitalism as well as for independence, are linked together. And it also means that the SNP leadership, who believe that just a win for them in the May elections next year would be enough to force Boris Johnson to retreat and to allow a legal referendum, that is cloud cuckoo land. And that is not going to happen. And therefore, we need a movement, a social and economic movement, to break the resistance of the ruling class, of the capitalist class, not just on their refusal to allow democratic rights in Scotland, but their insistence that the working class majority has to live in the conditions of poverty, of inequality, of food banks, of low pay, of a lack of decent housing, of debt. And that's the sort of society that we want to get rid of. Yes, that means fighting for independence, but it also means fighting for an independent socialist Scotland. So the two issues of independence and socialism are completely tied up together as far as we're concerned. And that really is the central case that the new book makes.
Okay, thanks. I guess another question then I have, Philip, is between now and the Parliament, what is the Socialist Party doing to combat the pro-capitalist independent narrative that no doubt the Scottish Nationalist Party will be putting forward between now and the May elections?
So we are preparing an election challenge as part of the Scottish Trade Unionist and Socialist Coalition, TUSC, which was set up in 2010 and involves ourselves, Socialist Party Scotland, and the RMT, the major transport workers trade union, and others on the left, other leading trade unionists and other socialists are involved as well. And we're standing to try to offer the alternative I just sketched out, which is an absolutely committed 100% anti-austerity voice for the working class. The need to build a new working class party in Scotland that is committed to fight, yes, for independence, but for an independent socialist Scotland, and wants to help lead our struggle against those forces of capitalism who want to try to prevent that taking place. So it's necessary, as I say, to link the two issues together. We'll be standing in the elections next May to offer that alternative, committed, yes, to a second referendum, but above all committed to mobilising working class people against capitalism and for democratic rights. So the book is very much worth buying. It'll be available now on our website in the next 24 hours or so. We'd encourage people to buy the book, to read it, to discuss it, and also to come to our public meeting next Thursday on Zoom, where we'll be launching the book, and you'll hear much more detail about what the book has to say and what Socialist Party Scotland and our international organisation, the Committee for the Workers' International, says on the national question in general in society today in 2020.
Well, Philip, that's all I've got to ask, but it does sound very interesting, and I'm dead keen to get my own copy as well. Thanks for giving me the time to speak to you, and very much looking forward to the book launch next Thursday.
Great. Thanks very much, William. Cheers.
Cheers.